Jealous of the successful Abel, Cain resolved to spill his blood upon the field. Why should the fat of Abel's flock gain favour, while God would disregard his yield? So, with a jealous anger hot concealed within, he said they ought to take a walk, suggesting that they have a friendly talk. Supposing innocent an invitation, Abel said gladly, going with his brother. Treacherous Cain gave no obvious indication of the ill mind of firstborn son of first mother, devising how his crime could be the bloodier. Is he to aim a rock and hardest hit, or make some torture where a blade would fit? Yes, wrath is harsh, and anger outstrips sense, but jealousy, indeed, disables mercy. Only the blaze of love is more intense. If peace, not rage, mastered Cain's jealousy, then might he well pursue a greater ardency. But love's ignored and virtue is omitted, so murder is the action that's permitted. And oh, when murder's done, again is murdering permitted. Murder making for more murderers, begetting further murder, ever furthering the world for murder, further murdering fathers, sons, daughters, brothers, sisters, and their mothers. A world for murder, murder for a world. No marvel then, a state that's all hell hurled. Who thinks or talks of murder who's not murderer? That evil crime is done in the mind first, and from the mind the crime is taken further, when one does not believe its crime the worst, but only resolution for endorsed. The only way to talk some sense into a killer is showing him he goes from ill to iller. But what's the sense that's talked into the deaf? The diplomat might speak the wisest course, but the committed fool yields only breath. The general can't command a lawless force. The handler cannot bridle a wild horse. Words for the ear, ideas for the mind, are futile when all reason's left behind. Then is psychiatry the needed cure for he who would commit to murder's act? Enough drugs then the murderers might be fewer. Enough asylums they might all be lacked, and sanity on earth might be intact. But we're in lack of hospitals and drugs for all the murder-meditating thugs. What is the remedy for such a profusion? What is to clear the woods, fields, hills, and plains, parks, roads, towns, cities, places of seclusion, and houses, homes, shacks, buses, cars, and trains, of people who are possessed with murderous brains? Oh, no solution has been stumbled upon, except to kill the murderers with the gun. Murder for war! That's how the world so goes. Oh, Cain, your crime was only the beginning. There have been more brutal, bloody, gruesome shows, loser versus loser, since in war who's winning? The murderous thing is evilest of all sinning. Were it stopped today, there'd still be no repairing all of the damage of its fatal erring. Too many widows made and souls displaced, too many refugees and war-torn orphans, too many cities overthrown in waste, too many wounded, injured, slaughtered persons, too many for too long the bloody seasons. When will, at long last, peace survive the world, that wings of human love might be unfurled? But murderers are adverse to love and peace, preferring hate and harm for life's sought prize. Where are the world's heroic, brave police, who've looked with pity in the human eyes, and act when they have heard the human cries? No murder in the world for any further, no world for furthering any sort of murder. Oh, it's no use. There aren't police with power to find, charge, jail, and rehabilitate them all. There will yet spring cruel murder's flower. A capture and correction is too late. This evil world too well has learned to hate. Peace, love, and happiness are just man's dreams. For hate and harm are how the future seems. It could seem better, but man knows no better than murder and more murder till all are dead. That, and that only, is man's one love letter. For seems it man's not happy till all have bled, and all the earth and sea are washed in red. God only knows if man can change his ways. Man might ask God, but won't ask God these days. Oh, know your God then, man, and change your ill. Turn from your murder to a heart of prayer. Yes, learn to pray. Forget how men do kill. Pray, pray, and pray, and say, Lord, make me fair, kind, gentle, loving, with a will to care. Then would we own a world that's really love, reflecting all the glory of above. His grace and glory's worthy of concern. Worship and praise, so thank God for his plan to save a world that otherwise would burn, to have a happy end to what began. A heaven, not a hell for mortal man, for Christ's own blood has run, and offers cover for all sins, even murderers can recover. Oh, then forgive the world for murder, Lord. Have mercy on the murderers of this earth. Surely Cain knew not that the forger's sword would prosper so and be our greatest worth, a hideously great worth that Cain would birth. Forgive, O God, the sin that's born of Cain, for mercy, not your judgment, man does wish to gain. What is the matter, son? If you do well, will you not be accepted by the Lord? Were Adam's words to Cain in jealous swell. You know the Lord is true unto his word, and honest rendered labour does reward, with his approval, well as righteous favour. Eschew the moodiness of your behaviour. Instead, commit the best of effort's pain. Be nothing grudging where you offer toil, but be of cheer in harvesting the grain. Have happy spirit planting in the soil. I fear reticence of hand your foil. But it was futile. Cain was firm decided. From murderous plan he wouldn't be divided. Now Cain said there's a certain favourite spot, providing comfortable rest and shade for two at work to withdraw from the hot noontime, a break deserved. He warmly paid compliment to his brother to persuade him he had no intention to suspect, if only praise was for his true respect. Thus through a stamped grass path the two went on. A sensible fear seized his murderous mind. The grief regarded if the sin were done, and though disturbed he would still be inclined to do the deed. Wishing the thoughts behind him, they progressed with him in thoughts debating, so to condone what he's premeditating. Retire, you balking thoughts, and find your bed. I am decided and shan't be harassed. My favoured brother soon is to be dead. His merit is accomplished far too fast. It scarcely any way can be surpassed. He seeks too triumphantly heaven's blessing. His own admired success I find depressing. Yes, what he does accomplish is my misery, to give the grueling duty of attaining his marvellous standard, forcing me to worry of how I should also succeed in gaining divine favour. No wonder my complaining. I've toiled amid the field beneath my sweat, and with the harder work I'm willing to bet. I strain amid the blistering heat of day, duly tilling the stone-encumbered ground, and bending down without relieving delay, to plant the seed laboriously all around, and come the harvest time, scant help is found, to pick the crop for our entire household. Despite this knack-ring toil, what am I told? My efforts are unjustly disregarded, and told to be in want and uninspiring, and I'm accused of having greedily hoarded my grain, like that's the whole of my desiring, like someone after riches for retiring from work, so to enjoy the lazy life, lounging around with service from his wife. How should that not provoke at least slight anger? It's an unwarranted admonishment, and treats me an unqualified mean stranger. Have I not had the virtue of intent to provide for my family? I have spent a man's own sweat for sibling, mother, father, and all I'm told is I need to work harder. How hard have I to work, until I'm sweating in drained exertion and toil beckoned blood? And how much grief to get, and to be getting it from supposedly compassionate God? I work and work, the uncompliant sod, but never it's enough for commendation. Harder, harder is the recommendation. God must be recommending me for dead. I've no eternal saviour to turn to. As for my kin, they just want me for bread. And how devouringly quickly they burn through that with such small thanks to Cain. Can't they learn to show some appreciation to the firstborn son? No, I'm to be worked till dead and done. For that and this my brother'll be a corpse. Too charming is his hand in greeting me, wearing humility but boasting works, reserves but keen for all the work to see his fruits and say, Most excellent, I agree. His cloak of false integrity's disgusting. I'm justified in being so distrusting. For it is pride, and only pride displayed by such false-fashioned meekness that's employed. And if his lying veil were well assayed, by questions bent to find, he'd be destroyed, a sullen boy shown, easily annoyed, and proud, distemperate, practice strange, a cad. I'm not the brother that's a brother bad. Bad? Not so long ago he spurned my offer to slaughter one of his lambs for the family. He veiled his qualm as if a private scoffer, responding with refusal. funnily saying the lamb's was too small to see, so hardly would be filling for our supper. Spurning a brother's help? That's just not proper. His theft's improper. Caught him just the other day in my field, plucking an ear of corn. He said it was at request of our mother. Of course, and I ought not to give him scorn. For yes, she needs the yield of the firstborn, not him, and it's just corn, so why such fuss? But when you've caught a thief, it's right to cuss. He'll curse like a bad thug, he will, that Abel. That brother cannot guard his evil tongue, even while we are sat around the dining table, about to pray. But then he'll do his wrong, half spluttering God's name, holding far too strong a stoop of drink. Says, oops, he spilled the stuff. That's cursing, brother. Yes, I might be tough. Tough? Ruler's a nasty auntie, him. One day I asked for some milk from a goat to quench my thirst from toiling hot, but slim chance of refreshment for my parching throat. With a look that seemed to discreetly gloat upon my need, he claimed the milk today. My drink's at home. But that's a long old way. It is a long way for a thirsty man, Abel. Not that you'll probably much care if I would keel down over as I ran, in desperation quickly to get there, for a life-giving glug of milk. Who would dare to claim he's good, who would dismiss a thirsty brother? Am I meant to go to the breasts of mother? He's probably the one that craves for those, like some lewd boy who's keen to be impassioned. His shameless interest in a mother shows. Or should I say I dimly just imagined on Mother's Day, when he kissed her, he fashioned Loiter's lips upon hers for a while. After did creep, it seemed, the vile incestuous smile. And he can smile and make it far too smug. Delighted when our father says well done for a required hole in the garden dug. Yes, well done, Abel, you can work. Good son. Not that I toil hot all day in the sun, and am now worked hotter with that by that pleased face. Any glance my direction is well out of place. How many chances does a father give him to even do the simplest most job right? I would as soon already make done with him, than to expect him capable to light a fire, while we are cold as orphans late at night. It's not impossible to start a fire, Abel, preferably before we expire. And disrespecting parents is that one. He once said father was unwise to marry, since mother never lets him have much fun. But since so closely our good times won't tarry, even if once in a while roused would harry, that'd really tick me off if I were them. Poor surprise that they did not condemn. He should be firmly scolded for his folly, as stupid as to seem geese does his nonsense sound. He says a happy herd does keep him jolly, and there the jolly clouds upon the ground, grazing on all the green dreams they have found. And when one takes a sugary nugget from his hand, it jolly cries a sweet dream come true in the land. Sheep aren't jolly, are they now, you fool? If they could think, no chance. They'd understand then, they're for killing, eating milk and wool. Won't be the joyful herd upon the land then, will they? The herd might all get out of hand then, and all the goats might turn on you and charge. That'd be a scene, although my hopes aren't large. His hopes must clip clouds, though. He's too joy-gaudy. Forever has that kind of happiness that makes you sick of a man, and the shoddy trait in a man suddenly just loudly bless another. Can't get any quietness with happy shepherd hanging round the home. Brother, just take your sheep for a long roam. He's arrogant as management. Can't stand that. There was a time he boasted he was better at navigating, knowing well the land, that much better by his work. It makes me bitter that by his prodding sheep he thinks he's fitter to guide the family on a leisure walk. He didn't get us lost, but still, far too much talk. He's chatty as a shop owner, just won't stop. I made mistake a time to ask the question, if a snake ever could make it to a tree top. My, that will not be done again. What invention of his to get at the serpent's intention? It was one question, not a whole investigation. I needn't be soundboard to every observation. And he can hold a grudge like a loan shark patrol. For when I feel his common toilet for his dog, I killed the mutt. There is a day I wished not stole. He screamed it was the best bud, not a creepy bug to loathe. It is not like I made that shepherd lug its shovel-clobbered corpse off my dear cabbage patch. And why could not its hide support the next batch? So, if I bring the topic of his hound up for a chat these days, he makes it clear he still will not forgive me. Not a sound he'll say like he could shoot aught any fear in me, while there appears a grown man's tear in his goat-gazing eye. Get over it already. It wasn't Lassio Toto, was it, my buddy? As miserable as an abandoned puppy he was for some while afterwards. So sad by one dead dog. We didn't have the happy herder around then. More the teary lad for I'd raised the topic. It is like he had just lost a parent by that grease routine. Cry, baby. Was it really all that mean? Mean as a warlock, Abel. Likes to pick on me non-stop. When I've got the sweets out, he'll mosey over. Hardly often asks to stick his hand in the date bowl, and never doubt he'll come when I have the honey cakes about. Can't you see, brother, these are meant for mine? No, you goat-wrangling thief, you don't wait for a sign. Sure as worms ripe, he's selfish. Never shares what he has got. I only ask to borrow his shepherd's staff, then he harshly glares, as if to ask his sour sin and hard sorrow. Has he the need of it all day until tomorrow? I only ask to see how far it'd bend, not to insert it up his shepherding back end. He's envious as a jewel thief, he is so. He goes to the garden to stare at the flowers. They are so beautiful, he says. I know. But have you been hanging round out here for hours, envying the sweet tulip's pretty powers? I haven't seen you for hours anyway. That's good. Seems flowers make you go away. If something's missing, he won't half make a whinge. Where's his fur cloak? It's cold out in the green. It is not like he doesn't pinch an orange from my own stash. So no, goat herder, I've not seen the thing. But seeing you're not exactly lean, you should be warm enough walking the herd. So please, not one more an enquiring word. I know it's jumping waves to fall he's jealous, because he harbours wants for my own wife, thinking I've got a beauty's prize more glorious. Oh, it is cause of some hard sibling strife, when he says how well she handles a knife, while cutting the vegetables for our dinner. Stop flirting with her, you goat-nudging sinner. Jealous of father, too. Says what a great gardener he is. Magician at the clipping. Even the common shrubbery looks first-rate. The way he praises, I would say it's tipping hard into jealousy. A much harder whipping would not be out of place. But then why bother when I'm about to kill that sinning brother? He can be an aggressive, punk-brained boy at times, confronting me with his whole posse of goats if I'm on the green. I will destroy him and his herd if we should tussle. Wussy goat herder. He says I'm just being fussy. They only came by to say hi to Cain. Well, if they don't say bye, I will cause you some pain. And I'm the angry one. Why, what about him? He can be furious as a dangerous boar. When I'd hit a lamb, he wouldn't doubt him so. Ran his mouth like a cheap lippy whore. How low! It is not like I threw it on the floor like a woolly bleating sports ball repeatedly. It was just in the woods for the wolves to see. He stoops too to intimidation. Sure does. Should I punch a stray sheep in my field again, he might see how I like a sore arm. His other one hasn't even healed from a last battering yet. Of course he yelled for father when I threatened I would batter him. That was an easy method to well rattle him. Of course he's cowardly. He didn't chase a lion snatching a lamb from the pen. He said the beast would be too mad to face for the likes of sparsely armed mere mortal men, even if he were multiplied to 10. But oh, that brother! He has not got a brave bone. Were he a giant, he'd not face the beast alone. Alone? That would be pleasure pure to savour. He's ever pestering me about one thing or another, or asking for a favour. Can I hold some wood while he cuts, or bring a tool from out the shed? Like he's a king and I'm a servant for ordering round. It's like no other person can be found. And where's he when I need a task for finished? He's busy on a parent's urgent errand, or it is like the slack has totally vanished, not to be found in all the grassy land. And when he's finally for work at hand, he's too incompetent to lend the job much help. And if I miss a nail for his hand, what a yelp! And does he need a pardon all the time? Ever dropping the cutlery or some nice gadget, shattering a cup upon the floor? A crime more than an accident. How does he fudge it up all the time? And yes, I should begrudge it. Mishandling of a tool. They don't replace themselves. Does he think I have a hardware store on my shelves? And he's always asking the matter with me, as if he were a shepherd and a therapist. What is the matter, brother? Can't he see that question begs for a delivered fist? Then I need to go to mother to get kissed. Cain, what's the matter? What's the matter, Cain? It's that brother of mine, my biggest pain. Not that he can stand pain in the least bit. If he should clip a limb on wooden furniture, it's like he's lost it. Mummy have to sit you down like some poor and babe-tender creature and see what is the matter? Bah, such a weak nature. He's got, you'd think she'd have to. One knocked arm should not produce a cry of such alarm. His singing, that is pain, a dreadful noise. Hearing a wolf and a lamb's preferable. It is the opposite of all earth's joys. So few things can make me as miserable, though by the noise he thinks admirable. Save it for a long stroll with your sheep, as many miles away as you can keep. And is he passionate as a great chef? He seems likewise for workers so. He's always talking the finer points of shepherding to death. Says how oh so proud he feels watching the herd graze, that he could stay out shepherding for days, in the clear true sweet air of grand green awesome nature. I never knew sheep poking had such a great future. He's vain, sure as the flag in fast wind flows. He likes to ask our mum how he looks in a shirt, or if his stupid seasonal mantle wows. And since he does need compliments for comfort, she doesn't say a word that's to his hurt, or at least I'll take it she's not speaking truth. For if he's good looking, I've not seen the proof. He's showy as a fraudulent entrepreneur too. Likes to flash jewels of the faith at any chance. It's meant for personal worship, not to accrue worship for yourself, brother. How does that enhance devotion to the Lord? What? Am I meant to glance at you admiringly and realise he does love me? Such an appreciation would not much behove me. Yes, it's just a devotional pendant and brooch, but it's still far too much, you bling-encumbered ponce. Effeminate as a lardy-dar ballet coach. And I remember he applied skin lotion once. I thought next he'd be having one of those months. Scented brother cream, brother. Now that's really gay. Even a blessed man of God can't pray that away. And he is more confused than a transgender scarecrow that thinks it is alive, flying in the ocean. At least, by the way, sometimes roams it appears so, with this long, lazy, lingering, stranger striding motion, absolutely absent of any real emotion. I don't know what's up with that. He'll stop if I see him, but that does not stop me from not wanting to be him. It's probably too much time spent in the meadows. If you're not careful, I'm sure it'll drive you mad for grass-inspired psychosis, I suppose. And when he's crazy, then he is the strangest lad. Talks about meadow monster sightings that he's had. That's the problem when you've got no real work to do. You start to think fantastic delusions are true. I think what's true near that is he's a total fraud. Not a real shepherd at all, but a pasture bard, making up romantic verse while he's stupid bored, like some sheep-jabbing, poetically ill retard. Yes, coming up with an aspiring line is hard, but it need not be shepherd's verse impossible. At least from his trifles that's far too demonstrable. And when he's bored like a poor penniless poet, annoying me with his whinging, "What's there to do?" or "There's nothing to do today." Really does show it, he does, sure as mutton and lamb makes for good stew. What's there to do? I haven't a sweet honest clue. But please, brother, stop bugging me about it now. Or do you want something new to prod, like a cow? And the result of Abel's inspiration's hairy. Some best lines of verse you find so exciting, Abel. I know by now when reading is best to be wary. Wow, that's some atrocious sheep marshalling clear done fable. I wouldn't leave that for a sister on the table. So please, shepherd, don't ask me what I think about it. If I'm to say the truth, I wouldn't shout it. And does his poetry need any revising? Of course that goaty gushy twash needs a revision. Was the sheep's meadow melancholy worth devising? How wonderfully good such clever improvision! The shepherd had the land of pastures of plenty vision, and led the sheep to the sweet grass for happy grazing. Yes, that one needs more than just a little rephrasing. His melancholic moods are morbid as the burrows. Will walk his shambling sheep with his hood draping over his face in silent weariness, glum, dragging sorrows, careless for even a high, like his day's rougher than actual dreaded work got to do. A shovel of sheep shuffling round like a shadow of a shepherd. I prefer him like that. It makes my day less awkward. And does he always need shout for a person? Yes, she's about somewhere, but so am I too. Trying to relax in the holiday season, with you shouting no louder than you'll try to. And is the author needing reason why too? Of course not. You just want some notice, don't you? Look at no far pasture. Please take my advice, won't you? He's always got some advice, like he's a counsellor. It'd be wise to pick the crop before season's over. Here over on this spot is firmer earth and leveller for planting. Of course, there are better reasons over mine for this nutrient instead. It worsens over time how the ground behaves, that one. Is he the farmer and I the shepherd training him to keep goats calmer? And he annoys me even when he's calm and normal, like I'm just waiting for something to go wrong with him. Like co-workers, too unprofessional to stay formal, and frightening with their outbursts. Can't take long with him before some strong disturbance does belong with him. Try to stay calm for a moment that can match you. I'm trying to stay sane just as I stand and watch you. Just like the true spring flower grows, can he be anxious? It's only a goat giving birth, not your own much-loved wife. But apparently your sheep and goats are worth more than the earth. One great, humongous, woolly, bearded worth. And it's not your own baby, give it back. Such maudlin mushiness deserves some flack. And the affection he has for his wife is cringy. Does he need to kiss and hug whenever he does see the love of his life? And always brings her tea in her favourite mug. He does. Won't hesitate to fetch a jug for her with an "Of course, my dear," when in the kitchen. It's not like he can make her happy with his pension. "I'm so grateful you can help me today," he'll say like I was giving him a kidney. "I'm only helping in your little play about raising sheep. Can't it be that fiddly, stupid though it does sound? What's it, a piddly couple of lines need stand in for with the sisters? At least it means I'm not in the field getting blisters." And he's compassionate like an eco-warrior. It's a sick you, not a dying pensioner. You don't have to be such a gentle worrier. She just needs rest. But if I mention her need for a roam about, he'll detention her to the pen for days in order to cure her. I don't know why he doesn't just insure her. His eagerness for a thing is too off-putting, and drains my own joy. We're going off fishing, not for a dive with the dolphins, and cutting bait for the trip is not to caught fish. Wishing a big catch, why is it like cherishing the memory of the biggest catch most weighing? I've decided if you go, I'll be staying. And when he's more thrilled, it's like he's discovered a treasure chamber in an ancient temple we're exploring. It's just an egg uncovered from some leaves, though it's striking red. The simple fact is it's not worth any shout. A dimple? Yes, odd, but hardly one of an egg's attractions. Now, brother, please stop you with your ear-piercing distractions. And red sky at night really is shepherd's delight. You are not a scientist comprehending a new wonder of nature. You've seen it before, a lot. You might think the effect would wear a tad, and all's a blunder when you let a sheep go astray. You're their defender. Aren't you meant to be focused and paying attention? He's just a shepherd for his own sweet time's retention. If he's surprised, wow, does he find it a surprise? Yes, father made you a very special new bow for guarding the herd. But why such an awes arise? You don't need to put on a whole astounded show. It's just a stick with string and pointy sticks to go with it. So get a hold of yourself, would you, Abel? It's not like you found a flying sheep in our stable. When he's amused, I also find him quite the bother. How amusing! He'll say in a long, dragging pit. A sheep doing a funny jump's not that fun, brother. Fine, fine, I'll grant it's quite fun if a lamb should hit to ride on one. But your amusement's still too rich. You see them all the time, don't you get bored of sheep? It's not like one's sheared and milked itself in its sleep. And his whole, "I'm just curious what you're doing." That is a pain. I'm doing work. You tried it ever? If you're not to help them off shoeing with you, fertiliser needs to be applied. Why don't you go for a wander and guide your sheep round? We've done that already today. If you hang round here, I won't be able to stay. When he's adventurous, he must think work's great. You are no ranger on a quest to destroy an evil ring. You watch sheep urinate in meadows. Is that such intrepid joy? You're not in an endangered world employed, brother. You just need to prod sheep along. You see a lion go for a lamb, then be strong. Also his, I anticipate a storm for the summer soon. It's like he's a weather guru all of a sudden, though his form for it is fickle as the weather. Either he should get some training or make for wider allowances and forecasts of such things. What's he next, a prophet for pagan kings? At times he thinks he is an Eastern guru, peddling wise waffle to a knowledge seeker. Fine, dreams come true when the music is through. The weeks are only longer and days are bleaker. Strength is weak when ability is weaker. But if you hear it once more, you'll meet wisdom's maker. Then you'll see your stuff as just a guru faker. Sometimes he's got that other type of wisdom, a philosopher who explains the working of morals to improve upon a kingdom, as if he well knows that game. Please shirking on morals, I say, when a lion's lurking in long grass, about to go for a lamb. Shoot a feeding off, you shepherding sham. He'd have you think he's a clever mutton sausage, too. He's worked out the day when the next lunar eclipse it all will happen, apparently he has. He can gauge, too, if a pebble goes with that mass and that mass tips on the scales other side. Yes, seemingly his lips conceal a genius's tongue by his estimation. But tapping sheep requires no clever contemplation. That brother of mine really is a stupid man, just like a duck too dumb to take a dip in a pond. You're rowing meadows, you need not to write a plan, nor take a large towel. Are you going beyond the green land and to the sandy beach, thickest born thing from a woman? At least when you're doing that. Also, you look stupid in your checkered wool hat. Also, he's ignorant of many things, which for his trade he ought to know by now. I just ask him which type of nettle stings, fen, dead, or spurge, and he scratches his brow and says he can't remember right now. How can he not know such rudimentary stuff? Well, if you get stung by the fen, that's tough. He compliments his ignorance with his scepticism, times like a typical scoffing, puffed up atheist. Yes, your dog's stenched in my field. It's causing a schism. Leash it, or else another's dead. I was none happiest to see it round, but since you're not the busiest, what with meandering the meadows, take it for business, and don't give me that look as if I wasn't witness. And as for witnessing, tattletale Abel, you needn't have said I took father's horse for a ride while he was out and it wasn't stable on a trot later, due to a whack on the course I took against a deer with quite the force. Did you, brother? But of course you're a snitch. That you do deserve more than just a stitch. And when he's ashamed, he's got to be trained too. I'm so ashamed of breaking your vase, mother. Yes, you ought to be. And you should get caned too, I'd say, you bumbling oaf. Take more care, brother. Accidents in this house are a big bother. At least when you do them. Yes, be ashamed. That was costly. Really, you should be maimed. He's a pain when disgusted at a thing, too. I only blew wind in a dim sheep's face, and on the other one I thought to fling poo. But your disgust has a pride out of place. I don't deserve that look. You should embrace me for who I am and how I behave. No? That's why you're getting an early grave. It was just horrific, he'll say to me. So, you saw a half-eaten gory deer in a meadow? Still, you don't have to be so horrified by something that is clear dead. It's unbecoming in men, such fear. I wonder what wasn't finished then. No mind, I don't want to hear you again. And greedy as a foreign merchant that Abel is. I see him counting all his sheep throughout the day, with a hoarder's, not herder's eye. If he's to miss one off his count, he starts to worry and to pray. The shepherd's pasture panic won't go away till he's got his count right. He says they're dear to him, but how can one sheep missing put such fear to him? And he wants to be known the greatest shepherd that ever roamed the meadow too, that glory seeker. As if his sheep prods can't be bettered. When I'm gone, I hope someone will tell my story, he'll say. Oh, brother of mine, don't you worry. You'll be remembered. The first person murdered. No one will care about the sheep you herded. And his idolatry I can verify. I've seen him gazing out intently at trees. I'm certain it is an oak bower's lie, saying he looks for any last fruit. Please, brother, I know as the glad wind does breeze, you're really an idolater. At least it's possible. You're not a professing priest. Used to offend too, does that charmless sinner. He has remarked that I seem heavy from afar, falsely implying I've had too much dinner. Wow, how incredibly insulting you are, Abel. So should I point your ugly mar out? All those glaringly red pimples, abuser. Lying so I'd surmise I'm a fat loser. And your apology is a rubbish thing. That it's my shirt that makes me seem unbig. And you're just blots in light, not spotty king of the sheep-shaped wild who couldn't give a fig about my feelings. Try donning a wig, might put some compliment near your face, or at the least it'd be your fairest grace. Grace? And what manners does he show at mealtime? By a fair standard, the trademark of the glut. He likes to oversqueeze a ripened lime on his salad, and cannot keep his mouth shut for another olive or berry. Most hungrily is 4 sugars in his tea. A little too much is still gluttony. What he likes a lot of is a fair sister. The one he has for wife is his favourite joy. Many nights I reason he must have kissed her, in his room like a lustily lively boy, who uses woman as a playtime toy. He says that every night they like to pray, but he likes incest a bit too much, I'd say. And he's not without homosexual wants, so lusting keen is his holy kiss as well, pressing on my recoiled lips. It affronts, almost like an offence starting from hell. It makes his actual nature simple to tell. At least I think so, and I've said to mother. She says he just loves me like a true brother. And wouldn't a true brother return things? A wanting pest borrowed a spade of mine, and most unworthy of trust never brings it back until I question a sign of its whereabouts, at which he'd assign forgetfulness for the excuse of return's delay. You forgot, brother? That excuse is so cliche. Drinks like he's clubbing by my estimation. I remember a night we drank together, he providing no generous invitation he was sharing the good wine with a brother, apparently for the distant birthday of mother, having us quaff inferior of the grape, and he downed two. Who and I should berate? And who can chastise but his wagging finger? Once chiding me for suspecting a father, he didn't make light of a point to linger, saying he should be speaking even harder, for claiming Adam has robbed from out of my larder. All I know is a flapjack disappeared. Not since has it magically reappeared. Magic and witchcraft? Abel has you there. He gave a trinket for my last birthday. Blue pebble or something, I don't care. Saying it'd keep misfortune's fawns at bay, if I'd keep my luck from going astray. Is that supposed to be clever? It sounded suspicious to me. He should have been grounded. Not that he would mind idling in his room all day, lazily bunking of work to do. I'd have him in the field instead and doom him to that day's slavery. That'd give him true work's toil. What's he blessedly get through and through to do but sit and watch his sheep, counting them in sweet shade till he's asleep? Or all else for his labour's challenge is sheep shoving, leisurely wandering lush fields amongst the blooming flowers, and with a happy whistle to the chatting birds, loving the feel of the sweet kissing breeze to go for hours relaxing my trees while sheep graze. Merciful powers! How can he blame me for wanting to kill the man? I've got real land to till. He's got a daydream's plan. He claims he fends off hungry wolves and jackals that prowl round preying on his precious sheep, and a canine's jaw clamped one of his ankles once. The wild bite must have been barely deep, given the happy stride his legs can keep. I'd rather a wolf had torn out his throat. Oh, that would make it hard to handle a goat. He says I should try wrestling an upset goat on a wet day if he has the easy job. Kicking a soggy goat is hard work. Get lost, brother. Such a chore would hardly rob of your charmed life of browsing meadows. Don't fob me off with likes of raging goat combating poddle. Give me a break. Probably just wants a cuddle. I wouldn't mind a break myself once on a moon either. Abel, you wit, slothful self-gratifier, foolish, prideful joker beneath God's humble boon, a wrathful drunkard of a vain lewd glut's desire, greedy, lying, cussing sorcerer, an entire thief that's cruel, idolatrous, and wronged to try to victimize working man, while the guilty hide. The one sin he is innocent of is murder, not that he might not if he had occasion to. What does the Lord see in that goat herder from the scope of his heavenly location? I don't see any good by his occupation. If there's remarkable quality I can see, it's that he seems to have been blessed randomly. And if he carries on receiving such sheer blessing, showering sweet favour and reward as it does seem so, what's there to do for my own is for all mere guessing, but to work myself silly until God does deem so to grant me it as well. Just as the sun does beam so life-givingly on crops, Abel's blessed. I've been planted a crop of my sweat, but I'm cruelly seen wanting. So, for all grief Abel's paid me, and more pain too annoying even to recall, my brother's blood for an unending war, and he must be the brother to bloodily fall. The lingering questions how shall I maul the fool? Rock, dagger, or other invention? Whatever method, I shall finish my intention. And what will become of me after the bloody deed? It's barely a concern at all compared to my anger. Those thoughts that prod and bulk aren't an alarm to heed. My commitment to act is infinitely stronger, and killing the shepherd is right to more than wronger. For the right impossible task he's wrong got me. being looked upon by the Lord favourably. Yes, I suppose my parents will disown a son. Perhaps I shall be killed or jailed. It's a little sombre, silent groan, I guess. Our parents might think they have failed raising me, but I'll say success would have prevailed, and that brother dead is a glorious win. The only failure is it's considered a sin. With Cain's thoughts wickedly concluding so, they did arrive at the sought-after spot in an oak tree's shade, with the gentle blow of the young summer day, enough relief from the hot if conversation were long. Abel swat a fly and then said, "What's on your mind, Cain? Is it the crop? You worry it won't rain?" Without provocation, Cain drew his dagger and pointed it, just touching Abel's throat, startling his brother nearly to a stagger, who could now, with fearful eye, easily note the rage in Cain's face. Cain grabbed Abel's coat, stretching the fleecy fabric, and then said, "Why shouldn't I now wash this blade in red? I hate you more than a vile goblin's grin, you shepherding scumbag of the green meadows. If I unbound all reasons for a slaughterous sin, it would outnumber all the grass that grows. Why have I urged murder's breath that you blessed chose, and I the one who lives in sorry obstacle, in need of some Herculean miracle? Why am I the unblessed one with real toil to do, the true sweat beneath the sun, working on hands and knees upon the soil, listed in the crude heat so a job's done for the day, so that a family's bread is won, while you do take the happy favour unhindered by anything but easy labour to be rendered? You take the blessing while I am despised, and left to work out how I can achieve the marvellous divine where I'm exercised. You with chose favour and approval breathe the air of sweet success and sure hope. I grieve the misery I'm bound to by the day. I have no clue if it can be another way. Forget the problem solving. I'll rest prettier when you are popped upon the ground, with the throat slashed and heart carved from its breast, left out to rot with maggots until found by a wild beast to devour. How does that sound? With this said, the crow darted through the tree, distracting the murderous Cain suddenly. Taking a moment's opportunity, Abel pulled back a fraction and then spoke. "Cain, I know not why you'd take blood from me, what pain I may have wrought, or trust have broke, or what offence or apathy that had stoked such hatred and deep anger from in you, violently would want to run me through. I plead, captive to capturer, spare me, brother. Don't soak the earth with blood for satisfaction, grievously taking a son from a mother, put her joy to dust by slaughterous action. A father too in similar reaction, shocked a son murdered, a son murdering son. I beg you, Cain, don't yield your anger done." Then Abel did adjure him by the Almighty and further plead to spare his life, and think what grief would rise from such a savage slaughtery. Sisters in mourning too, him with cursed stink of worse sin, trust broken filial link, stained family honour, prompting God to act, pain and remorse and guilt, bitterly racked. Cain smirked and said what little it all meant compared to slaughtering him. Then, seeming eager to postpone murder's reasons, put to spent breath, him alive with brothers that'd beleaguer him like a troll, his future as his bleaker than Hades' wage already paid to him. He set on it, then run his blade through him. But first Cain highlighted the flaws he saw in him, delighting to see him harassed, evilly gloating at him at his implore, touching the blade to different spots with fast excitement of hand, mocking, able to cast himself onto his knees and beg for mercy. Then summer rain did pour down suddenly. Surprised by a dry season's boon of water, Cain glanced around, distracted from his brother's torture, the goat herder's impending brutal slaughter, slightly held by the drenching work of nature. Abel, reprieve found, to put off soon future demise, spoke, the crow still there, looking on, as if forbidding murder to be done. "Do you remember the good times we've had, Cain? You and I together like true brothers, hunting, exploring, riding, fishing, glad in company to talk and forget bothers, and drinking, wishing, dreaming as the night furthers, gazing at the stars, thinking of times coming, our hopes all those drops of gold fire outsumming. Do you remember all our hopes and dreams, our glorious plans for the far distant future? The future's never how the present seems, is it, Cain? There's always some star and feature there, isn't there? And the past, well, that's torture. Why do we do it, us men? Why the pain invited on ourselves? Huh? Why? Why, Cain? Well, I suppose it wouldn't even matter if we could say why. All things come to be, to a certain state, Despite if we do batter our own state much often. What's there to see in men that isn't hurt's next destiny and hope's large estimate? And hope's a field when hurt is afar. Isn't that right for us mere men? But what's there to do for man but despair? For hope is hurt by but little to scope in man's future, little for fortune's share, little to fathom sweet, little to cope with for his flourishing's due, little to hope for the man hurt by little for his lot, much man's despair when least joy he has got. For despite chasing joy, hurt may abound, but hurt abounds by hope distant and gone, brought closer only when progress is found, progress found only when the right is done, right only done when what is wrong we shun, and wrong is shunned when we obey God's love, which to obey is to serve Him above. And Cain, don't you know much joy can be had by the man with but only small possession? For while the world at the world's loss is sad, the poor who make the Lord's will their intention, and thoughts that find heaven their obsession, will find the happy state is never far. Indeed, it's a mystery easy to unbar. As why should happiness be hard to find when the Lord wants you to be happy in Him, and not just wrestling with your own upset mind in order to figure out how to win Him? Look not so hard in your own head, but pin Him to your heart, and your happiness will start. Keep to Him, and it won't ever depart. Of course, there'll be tough times. There always are. We know life isn't one long, easy ride. There's a season for all things, but our days are to be used to work out where God does hide in all things. For He's always by our side, and never will leave us. Just have the faith that no matter what, He will keep you safe. For faith's the glue that holds your love together. Faith is the promise that love is enough. Faith is the strength to brace against all weather. Faith is the focus when things get too tough. Faith is the saviour when days are too rough. Faith is the reason when all reason is at loss. And when it is found, faith is still the boss. For faith's the guide that's visible inside. Faith is the vision that heaven's really here, nearer than all the good green earth outside. It is the reason we have to let cheer. It is the hope we can apply to every tear. And when there are no tears or cheers, it is still there. Keep us true to our love's needed care. For faith's the care that's special and most rare. It's the degree by which we measure love. It is what's fair when we put heart to bear. And when comes time that we are asked to prove that heart, only faith has will not to move. And when a heart is hard and won't believe, faith's the belief that prayer can truly retrieve. And faith's the shield when doubt comes to attack. It's the truth when false faith comes with a lie. It's certainty when uncertainties stack. It's thought to be the mystery in love's eye, but it's a clear proof of love that we buy. What's the glory? Love is really the truth. It is to trust that love is worth its roof. It's the compass when conscience would be fogged. It's the gift coming on time when in need. It's the vigour when the body is flogged. It's the perseverance that love does breed. It is the competence of the mustard seed. It is the sense the weed has the flower within. It is the spirit that refuses to give in. It's the true passion of the human soul. It is the noble road of the pious pilgrim. It is the gratitude for heaven's goal. It's the attitude that has it keeps willed in, not just a platitude that a lover filled in of relationship with to think it real. Faith's the key to heaven's holy deal. And will you not keep to his covenant, Cain? You know it is the only thing of sense in the long run if you avert pain. For faithlessness to God is more intense, sorrow, than joy is strong from a crime. Hence you should do what is right and spurn to kill. You can't afford the cost of murder's bill. Cain, won't you serve your God and shun the wrong? You cannot solve the day by evil's work. For strength in sin is a problem more strong than weakness where solution does still lurk. A man's failed efforts are his common quirk. Life's problem's mystery, not solution's mastery, and murder's help is an assistant most dastardly. I do adjure you further, don't do this deed. Cross were not the red rage against me, Cain. You would regret the profit should I bleed. Murder can't thwart any problem or pain. The stench of its ill deed is greater stain. Deep scarlet and pure white that will not wash. The profit of murder's indeed sin's cash. Oh, Cain, don't tread the road virtue forsakes. The path is most wide where murder is cried. Salvation and the soul, those are the stakes. Odds do gain where waging is defied. Odds are defied where waging's game is applied. Cain, don't apply the blade to waging murder. Wage your soul to kill a goat herder. and how bleak and unrecoverable might a merciless contest of terror rage, with sons of fathers master how to fight, future slave of immortal its wage, a roar and rampage, lord of history's page. Cain, a brother slain maybe war's first breath, then brother against brother just for death. Am I not brother who loves brother Cain, who would lend the mind's reason for his soul's strife, who would pour a life's river to his heart's main, who would lay an own life down for his own life, who would offer to console a grieving wife were she widowed? Will you doubt my love's truth? That our faith in you is a brother's proof. But have you not loved me like brother true? Have you not, Cain, been there when I have needed? Helped me through toils, calamities, fears too, where otherwise my hope would have conceded. Have you not my call for your efforts heeded? Cain, you're my brother, the truest of kin. You'd act in the falsest by murder's sin. Anger reddening your intents erratic. Blood defies to surge with desired heat. Yours is a nature's fit that's ill and automatic to souls possessed by passions too fleet. You must let sense possess your own 2 feet. Then may intention have a virtuous sway, or else you act in an irrational way. If I've caused wrong to you, I shall amend on it. I've been honest to you in all. With no variance have I tried to pretend myself as something other, nor put up a wall to have concealed a purpose, nor have I aimed to gall a brother. Pain, offer you my hand, settle hurt. Is it a much demand? The hand extended out, Cain seemed to ponder it a few moments, but then swiftly lifted his dagger, bringing it down like steel thunder on Abel, who in a split second shifted position. Grabbing the fast strike, he twisted it away, and the dagger fell. He thrust him off of him, and made a run, while Cain cussed. Quickly recollecting his blade, Cain threw it at his brother in hasty retreat. It found a vital mark as it pierced through his back and forced him to lose both his feet, falling onto his knees. Cain, to complete the deed, clapped hold of a rock by the tree, and charged at his down brother murderously. Abel reached, Cain kicked him prone to the ground, and crashed a large rock down upon his head, for a ferocious mauling. He would hound him like a beast of wild fury till dead. The deed done, Cain stared at his work's bloodshed, the first of man of a long list to die, blood seeping through the earth like scarlet dye. Murder! Cried the sky. Murder! Cried the earth. Murder! Cried the wind. Murder! Cried the dust. Murder! 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 Murder's red birth. The crow looked on like condemning unjust a deed, which for man would give man scant trust. And thinking it unwise to linger, Cain fled, too careless to retrieve the knife now dipped in red. Cain snuck to the house, changed his bloodily messed clothes before seen, burning the blood-stained garb some miles distant where no one would see the guilty. Home, asked of his brother, he feigned ignorance, but said how good it had rained. Later, parents concerned did go to find their son, feeling something wrong on their mind. I feel uneasy searching for our son, said Eve. It's as if my mind can sense ill. Adam replied, I too sense evil done, unrest in a mind where it would be still, and complimented gravely where evenings chill. They laboured, searching for the sun as rest of day did waste, at their ill mind's behest. Eventually, after a search most long, they spied the corpse, and panic shook. They ran to it, confirming the heart-crippling wrong. Shocked by the blood of Abel, a dead man, grief overwhelmed and powerfully would ban all light within their eyes. Eve sunk and cried. Adam let out a wail, then spoke grief best tried. Grisly, slaughterous carnage! Who to blow? This dagger! It is Cain's! And I could surmise why. Well a jealousy had lit for show. I didn't sense the fullness of its furious guise, but hear its fitful fire in reddest rise. Oh, heavy, grievous blows for the rock and knife, put the first strike against a human life. I should have known when he went off today something was wrong. He had that look about him. He wasn't his normal self by the way he acted and did speak, but I couldn't out him on purpose. If I could go back, I'd doubt him the man that was our son in character, rather a devil playing a man's manner. Cain had been heavy with jealousy since God had approved of Abel, disregarding his own efforts. These wounds too well evinced that, and for Cain's giving he was rewarding favour and blessing. Cain though for his hoarding, had been refused an heavenly endowment. His heart by greed tried to find its contentment. Cain's offering was not done through charity, but through a heart just aiming to receive a return for his own prosperity. Cain didn't fail in plenty to achieve by his own offering, but did plenty try to thieve by owning a heart little set on love. He tried to plunder from the great above. But there are wards there that no man can break, for heaven's bounty is guarded by our God, and he knows genuine hearts from hearts fake. He gives to honesty and not to fraud. Charity is perfect while greed is flawed, and to receive one must be willing to give. To give true one must by love and faith live. Is that too much a thing for God to ask? If Cain had love that flourished through his faith, then being blessed would not be such a task. But he tried either to live life too safe by a hoard, or else the good Lord he would scathe. For he had told me God is a hard Lord, reaping where he does not sow by his word. But is it Cain who does provide the growth? Is it Cain who provided earth for seed? No, Cain, it is the Lord providing both. He's the one growing crop, plant, flower, and weed. Cain only tilled to give the crops a feed, but the feed itself by the Lord is fed. Thus it is God providing all our bread. Cain only need realize he is no God, but the created clay for the Lord's pleasure, loved by him. Then his frosted heart would have thawed, and he would have earnestly sought God's treasure, rather than seeking him at his untrue leisure. For he did not put his heart to his toil, but preferred easy ways to work the soil. In methods, he always looked for some comfort. In problems, always for a fast solution. In challenges, he was afraid of hurt. In harms done, he always thought worse pollution. In failures, he sought for no absolution. And he always looked for when a break would come. Always, too, trying to leave early for home. For his own shortcomings, Cain killed his brother, too jealous of his good success achieved, not with enough commitment for work's bother, and producing an offering ill conceived. Now, in his jealous anger, he believed he could have satisfaction through bloodshed, but now he's earned himself but punishment's bread. The Lord will decide if he does stay or goes. We have lost both our sons on this day. Too heavy and grievous are these blows. I don't know there's a son left that could stay. Then he would have to go another way. So we have no sons left but just our daughters. His wife would need take with him to new waters. Jealousy, beast, you have committed this. The vapours of your hate abound here still. Joy, happiness, all my possible bliss, smoke in the wind, a son to a son kill. This blow and this one, murder's ghastly fill. Flow, flow, you tears, and run a salty ocean. O heaven, here bleed all of man's emotion. O murder, a tornado raging's better. You picture of a demon painted red. Barbarian, you should know the iron fetter. Feeding on wrath, to wrath you should be fed. Divorced of mercy, to cruelty wed. Devoting to hurt and refraining to heal. Discarding love's letter and gathering hate's seal. Villain to virtue, hero to vice. The wolf defending and attacking the lamb. Charity's obstruct, tyranny's advice. To chaos genuine, to order sham. Paradise to save, courage to completely damn. A businessman of grief to joyful customer, dead to peace and to war and necromancer. Giver of hardship, taker of sweet leisure, disease to life, vitality to death, rubbish to hope, and to despair of treasure, silent to reason and to madness breath, of darkness for truth to lies of chef, capturing wisdom and releasing folly, for justice depressed, for corruption jolly. Refusing the clear and rewarding the fog, lost to friendship and gained hostility, assisting trouble to assurance clog, honour's ineptness, shame's ability, costly to beauty, to ugliness free, lawless to use, to futility law, and a robber of both the rich and poor. Murder, you thief, you took away our son, that someone would put murder to you too, murder. Now what's there left that can be done? Eve there, I don't have any real hope's clue, if there's a recovery that could be true. Eve did reclaim herself from the worst of fears, examining what was the worst of fears. Lo, here was Jonathan to David a friend, and here was David's faithfulness not to quit. Here was Solomon's wisdom that could mend, and here was Samson's strength so powerfully fit. Here was Job's perseverance of such grit. Here was Moses' humility so mild, and here was Daniel's courage of God's true child. Abel is capable in many ways, as predecessors to their qualities, though not for greatness known, still great as days, that God should recognise his properties, rewarding him with heaven's commodities. Who is great who has not their ownership? Who has them is great, and should greatly grip. But alas, even the great go to dust. All man must return from whence he came, and put his soul unto the final trust, to heaven for good deeds and the faith's claim, or hell for evil deeds and faithlessness' shame. Those who die for the Lord shall live and win. Those who live for the world shall die of sin. There is no other deliverance than him. Seek the truth, and the truth you shall receive. The sewer line one's chances are slim. Hope, faith, and love are things to well believe. Wealth, fame, and power are things that well deceive. Then choose with this wisdom that I give you. If one choose wisely, even fools are true. True fools, though, shall in no wise meet with welcome, but shall be banished from choice ever again. They offer up false wisdom, and do seldom accept true wisdom when they see it plain, and threaten with their folly all that's sane. O fool, will you learn wisdom for salvation, or keep to folly for your condemnation? Wisdom is the pearl offering life hope, that counsels both happiness and the sorry. To aspiration offers it the scope, to inspiration offers it the story. To consternation it mitigates worry. It is the truth the angry will see with time. To all man's matters its reason or rhyme. To kings and rulers its decree and law. To the listener it offers vital wealth. To the inattentive it tells they're poor. To life it shows how to live with true health. To love it teaches be true to yourself. To self it shows to self is not true care. To knowledge it is a knowledge more rare. The clever it does teach not to be smart. The stupid it does teach intelligence. The cultured it does teach quality's heart. The who is wise it teaches best defence. To orators it teaches eloquence. Philosophers it shows there's more than wisdom. Poets it shows how to devise a kingdom. Wisdom, indeed. You're a most useful tool, and there's always a use for you somewhere. Those who shun you need to go back to school. Those who accept you are under good care. All who search, finding you, should also share. But you are not far, you call from the street, and when we come, you don't take to retreat. Then go, reader, if I can say, and find wisdom. Little the lot to be found here with a poet in his gimmicky mind. No matter if unto his pen it is dear. Then go to philosophers if they're clear, and have it your way to get to the end, though I'm out of poverty for it to lend. Eve dabbed her wet eyes with a handkerchief, soaking up the remaining salty streams. Now at some sound sense she picked up a leaf wrinkled on the ground, thinking her life's dreams were lost in it away from the sunbeams that used to kiss and bless it on a tree. Leaf, she said, with you is my agony, for you have been surrendered from your home, like my whole world has now surrendered life. My son would smile and laugh with his sheep and roam the verdant pastures with cheer, free from strife and evils of the world. But now this knife and that rock, smeared with my dear child's lifeblood, and so my world lies with you in the mud. She dropped the leaf, and as it fell, the wind blew it into the blood staining the earth, marking where brother had greatest sinned, destroying the day that's intended for mirth, instead to pay to life its joy's long dearth. A new tear rolled down Eve's face at the leaf in her son's blood as she paid her word's grief. A son that's precious is now lost and gone. May his new home in heaven be received, because his work amid the pastures is done. His duty has finally been relieved. Perhaps heaven will have new for achieved. He shall own peace and joy that's unsurpassed. But here on earth, this wound gives grief to last. And what can heal a wound so deep and sure? Words raised by air offered for my world raised. Mere breath is trespass for this hurtful store. It is the pasture's nettles where sheep grazed. Then over slow time will this wound be phased. Time, coursing into future seasons' grass. Can I predict a cure in your hazed glass? Time, who does calm and challenge with his flight, Strider, active builder, speedy vanquisher, redeemer by luck, nemesis by plight, light kindler, light beam, light extinguisher, hardship's relief and comfort anguisher, future loan, past waste and the present spend, death's scythe on the ride, life's course who does mend. Mara of beauty who produces flowers, forms modify and fashion's fickle changer, season bringer of cold, hot winds and showers, unsure security and unknown danger, and knowledges and safety's silent arranger. Time, kind and cruel, would you offer balm? Fool, time, the chasing sting is remedy's harm. I shall live with the sunken eyes of sorrow attending to the day in permanent black, not changing from its outfit on the morrow, both the day and the morrow for my rat. I've little to naught left to me to unpack, for this, a grief too harsh. I prophesy murder shall go on. My son Cain, you are its father. On this prediction, sons shall murder fathers and world's parents. Fathers shall murder sons and world's children. All grieved as murder furthers. All killed, priests, soldiers, doctors, lawyers, nuns, lords, politicians, artists, bankers, dons, clerks, architects, musicians, students, cooks. Too much to say, but now that's how it looks. It will be a surplus to grief if we linger, my husband. Let's return to our home to mourn. I'm sure to such a deed there's nothing wronger, for this bloodshedding both our hearts are torn. The black apparel should grimly adorn us. Let us take our son for burial tomorrow. We'll have to take any extra sorrow. This said, the parents took their son to bury, their daughters to inform of this harsh grief. Later, Cain did receive his comeuppance as sorry, to bear the brand of wicked sinner and chief, the mark that would say he is life's blood thief. Outcast, his hardship for the land of Nod, then taken the rebuke from Almighty God.